Perfect. Okay. So thank you for letting me be here tonight. I do have two preambles before I begin my story, and I hope you'll indulge me. The first one is I have a couple of questions that will inform how I do my piece. Ooh, that light's wrong. The first one, if you don't mind raising your hand, if you're comfortable answering the question, is do you consider, or have you considered yourself at any point in time, the type of person that would help others at the expense of yourself? And the second one is, are you generally known by other people as somebody who is really observant and often right about people? You're very insightful. Okay. The second one is for my benefit. I am a huge fan of call and response, so when I say booger, you say booger. All right, so the ones that will help me the most, I don't get to hear them very often. The ones that help me the most, I don't get to hear them very often. The first one is, Kyle, you don't know shit.
You don't know shit.
Thank you. And the second one is, that's really none of your business.
That's really none of your business.
Thank you very much. Orma Kyle Ailes was born in 1922 in Sioux City, Iowa. Her maximum weight at the time of her death was 320 pounds. Virginia Ann Ailes, her daughter, my mother, was born in 1949 and is currently 260 pounds in Jupiter, Florida. My name is Kyle Robert Ashby. I was born in 1985 where was I born? Wright Patterson Air Force Base. I'm a military brat. And I am currently 260 pounds. The reason I'm talking about my weight is that I'm recently obese. It's a new thing for me. It's kind of freaking me out, but I'm trying to handle it because it comes along with some baggage. And that baggage is the only people who were fat in my family were my maternal grandmother, my mother, and now myself. And I want to talk about these two women and myself and the connection we all seem to have. So Orma Kyle was born in 1922, got married at 20, had her first kid at 27, and she was a fucking doormat. Her husband was an abusive drunk who dumped her when she was 40, and she lived with her mother amongst towers of magazines, and she used to send me Discover and Physics magazines and Science Daily, and she would have her notes and her insights, and she was a really fucking smart woman, but she was lonely. She would come to Florida when we were preteens. We would go to the mall, and we would all have lunch together, and then all of us would desperately try to get away from her because she was so sad inside. You'd sit with her, and you would just feel it resonate off of her, and you wondered what you were supposed to do, and at 11, I had no fucking clue. And so we would all, one by one, leave to go join my mom for a cigarette or something, and then she would be left at the table by herself and burst into tears. She burst into tears a lot and talked to herself a lot. My mother is a really wonderful woman. I talk to her all the time. She was raped by that abusive drunk and got married to an Air Force colonel who cheated on her most of her marriage, but she was a fucking tiger mom. She didn't take any shit. She kicked all of his girlfriends to the curb. She raised three beautiful kids, and I was one of them. And I had a pretty great childhood. But now she lives in Jupiter, Florida, and for the last 15 years, she's not left the house. She lives amongst cardboard boxes, dolls that she bought intending to sell, and her own shit and feces because of her medical problems. I talk to her on the phone. That's the relationship I have with my mom. I got fired a year ago because I'm so good at helping myself and so shit at taking care of me. And what I realized is that while I grew up happy and pretty pleased with my surroundings and really good at talking to people, I inherited this disease. And this disease is helpfulness. And I got it because these two women had no idea how to take care of themselves. And I was raised by a mother who gave me the world and never asked for anything in return. And what I realized is that she never taught me how to be emotional, so I learned it from other people. And what I learned is to have their emotions, not my own. And so I ended up in this space where I can meet you in 5 minutes, I have you sobbing. I have you telling me a story you've never told anyone. And then my biggest impulse is to fix it for you. And it's affected my entire life because I thought it was a boon. I've gotten every job I've ever had because I can read people in a minute, because I can tell people what they want to hear, and oftentimes it's the truth. It's a rare gift and I'm happy for it. But it has some downsides, which is I'm not super great at reading myself. I'm not super great at controlling my weight. I know if food goes in and exercise doesn't go out, there's going to be an issue. But I can't seem to get to a place where I'm happy working on myself. And so over this last year, I've had to figure out how to convince myself that my ability to talk to people and my ability to help is not helpful. And it's been really hard. And I really didn't think I was going to get emotional tonight, but that's what I've been working on. That's what I've been trying to do over the last year. Because for 10 years, I've been helping movements, I've been helping change people's lives, and I love it so much, and I don't know what kind of person I'm going to be if I pull back. And I get to a place now where I'm wondering, were my grandmother and mother just a little bit too queer for the men they ended up with, or am I just a little too much trauma informed? I did Reiki on my mom once when I became a Reiki master, because fuck, that's a great way to help people, isn't it? And I did Reiki on her once. I was on her for 30 seconds and she burst into tears. She wasn't having a bad day. My mom was the top paralegal in the state of Florida for 2 years until her mom got sick, and then she threw her life away. My mom is the type of person who my friends on Thanksgiving make me call her so she can tell stories and be charismatic, and people like, I wish my mom was like that. And I have to live with this double image that she probably didn't use the bathroom properly that day, or she probably didn't get out of bed, and we don't know how soon it's going to be before she dies, and my uncle yells at my brothers every day to fix her, and I've just had to live that I have a really great mother over the phone. And now I'm wondering what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to get rid of the person I've been for the last 29 years? Am I supposed to reject this gift I got of being able to really connect with people because it's hurting me? I don't really want to be this way. I obviously am comfortable with it in some capacity, but I'm not sure I want to remain this way. I don't want to be the person that can't feed myself in a way that's healthy. And I mean that in all sorts of ways. And so I tried to get rid of it. The first 6 months since last February, I tried to get rid of it. I didn't leave my house. I stopped helping people. I didn't listen to their problems. I talked about me, and I mostly talked to myself. And it involved a lot of sitting and doing nothing and eating McDonald's and eating Taco Bell and eating Papa Murphy's. I fucking hate that I live across the street from a Papa Murphy's. And I didn't have any answers. And I've been in therapy, and I cried once in therapy. My therapist cries almost every time. I'm really jealous of her. And then after 6 months, I started realizing that my skill set could take a break. I do a lot of labor organizing, and I realized that a lot of the people who are really good at reading became hyper-aware because they were traumatized. I wasn't raped like my mother. I wasn't thrown away like a bad piece of trash by my grandmother. But I was taught by these two women that emotions were scary. But we had a lot of love. I was kissed every night before I went to bed. Physically, we were there. We're a very social, touchy family. But actually dealing with our own shit, I got the heaviest burden of that. My brothers are fine. Those assholes. And I got to a place where I said, maybe I don't have to ask people those questions today. Maybe I can just ask myself a question and sit with it, because I love talking, and it's something I'm really good at. And what happens if I don't talk, even to myself? I just sit with something. I don't come up with a solution. I'm not a problem solver. And I thought I would get rid of it. I would shed the weight. That person I used to be would be gone. And then I realized that it has to be both. It has to be a boon and a burden. I have this disease, and I'm going to live with it the rest of my life because I care about the women that it impacted. I took on their trauma because my mom, to this day, is not willing to deal with it. She sounds fantastic over the phone, but she's going to die unhappy. And I know that, and I'm okay with that maybe today. Probably not when she goes. And so, instead of getting rid of this person, I said, okay, this is a person I have to take care of inside. I have to sit with it, and it's going to be ugly sometimes. I'm going to ruin future relationships because I'll have that impulse too strongly. There's people in this room that I've tried to fix, and it hasn't worked, and it's pissed me off. And there's people I have, and I feel equally worse because I could have spent that time with myself. I'm not sure how to reconcile that. What I do know is that I'm talking about it. I got almost teary-eyed in a group of people I mostly don't know. And I don't know if that's good or not. And the fact that I don't know if that's an exit strategy, I think that's something I have to live with. Thank you very much.
Good.